AK with bayonet, with
DP,
folding
DP.
stock, with
Scope.
night sight and silencer, and light machine gun. So, for creating AK and for modernization, Mikhail was awarded by Stalin Prize and the rank of Hero of Socialistic Labor. Also, of course, Mikhail had a team of weapon designers to work with him, and here we can see a photo.
এই শহরে আমরা
যে ডিসকভারের নাম কি ছিল
মিখাইল ক্লাশনিকভ ওনার নাম ছিল। ওনার নাম অনুসারে প্রথম গানটার নাম হয়েছিল ক্লাশনিকভ, যার এখন ওয়ার্ল্ডের মডার্ন ওয়ার্ল্ডে যার নাম AK-47।
আর AK-47 ডিসকভার যেটা করেছিল সমস্ত
মিখাইল ক্লাশনিকভ
সব কিছু
সেখানেই আছে। এই প্রথম যেখানে AK-47 ডিসকভার হয়েছিল সেখানে
যে গানে সব থেকে বেশি ডেথ হয়েছে মানে মানুষ মারা গেছে সেটা হলো AK-47। তো আমরা সেই মিউজিয়ামে যাব, আর মিউজিয়ামে যদি আমাদের অপরচুনিটি থাকে যে গান চালানোর সেটা আমরা দেখবো। অবভিয়াসলি অপরচুনিটি থাকার কথা, আমরা ট্রাই করবো সেটাকে দেখবো।
এখানে এই যে মিউজিয়ামে ঢোকার জন্য এখানে আছে
11টা থেকে 7টা, বুধবার 11টা থেকে 7টা, বৃহস্পতিবার 11টা থেকে 9টা, শুক্রবার 11টা থেকে 7টা, শনিবার 11টা থেকে 7টা, রবিবার 11টা থেকে 7টা। মিউজিয়ামের সামনে এই যে সামনে এই দৃশ্যটা দেখো,
প্রথম এখানে AK-47 ইনভেন্ট হয়।
সামনে এই দৃশ্যটা দেখো মিউজিয়ামের, চার্চটা কত সুন্দর লাগছে, কত লাইটের সাথে, সূর্যের সাথে।
মূর্তিটা এটাই মিখাইল ক্লাশনিকভের মূর্তিটা
কোথায়?
ডিসকভারি AK-47 সামনে।
সো চলো আমরা আগে যাই। সাথে আমাদের স্টুডেন্ট কার্ড আছে, স্টুডেন্ট কার্ডটাকে রাখি না, স্টুডেন্ট কার্ড রাখতে স্টুডেন্ট কার্ড থাকলে আমাদের এটা হলো আমাদের স্টুডেন্ট কার্ড। স্টুডেন্ট কার্ডে আমাদের অনেক কিছু ছাড় পাওয়া যায়, মিউজিয়াম বিভিন্ন ট্যুরিজম স্পটে স্টুডেন্ট কার্ড দেখালে, রাজশাহী স্টুডেন্ট ইন্টারন্যাশনাল স্টুডেন্ট জন্য ছাড় পাওয়া যায়।
তো ওটা ওয়ার্ল্ডে যে কোনো জায়গায় চলে আসবে।
সিকিউরিটি চেকিং এখানে খুবই করা হয়, সিকিউরিটি চেকিং, কারণ এখানেই AK-47 ডিসকভার যত সমস্ত নথিতত্ত্ব আছে, অতএব সব কিছু অতি মূল্যবান জিনিস, সেই জন্য সিকিউরিটির খুব হার্ড।
জ্যাকেটটা সামনে আচ্ছা, এটার জন্য এটা আমাদের মানে অডিয়েবল বা ডিসক্রাইব করে যে এটা কেমন কী সেই বিষয়ে এরকম ডিসক্রাইব করবে, এটা এইভাবে কানে লাগাতে হয়।
Can you hear? Can you hear?
Yes, I am hearing.
The sound of the gun.
অডিও পোর্টেবল, ওখানে যে ম্যামটা আছে সেই ম্যামটা কিছু বলবে, যা ডিসক্রাইব করবে সেই বিষয়ে একসাথে, সেগুলো আমরা শুনতে পাবো এই অডিও। তার জন্য এটা হলো মেন। সো আগে চলো আমরা মিউজিয়াম থেকে আমরা পরিবেশন করে থাকি, আগে চলো। ইয়েস, ইটস ওয়ার্কিং। আমাদের মিউজিয়াম শুরু হচ্ছে এখান থেকে, বিভিন্ন কার 19 প্রাচীনকালে বিভিন্ন কার 19 এই যা শর্ট গান কার 19। This is the one AK-47.
Drugs to escape. I feel the rain, it burns like pain. Alone again, where are my friends? I need to change things in my brain. That's why we take drugs to escape. The weather speaks to me, a different frequency. Gave you a piece of me, but you left so easily. I thought you needed me.
Here we can see that Mikhail was born in a there were a lot of problems and the medicine was not very good. As now, so many children died and only 8 of children survived till a small village in Altai region. It's the south part of our country. So also mother of Mikhail, she made clothes book. So also Mikhail was interested in mechanism from his very childhood, and also he visited school. He liked studying very much, and he liked literature. And he wrote poems during all his life, and literature was one of the famous subjects in his school studying years. So he studied at school during 7 years only, and it is only education he had, only 7 years at school. So when he was about 10, the family was sent to northern part of our country. They were deprived of all their belongings, and they were sent to northern part. It was region, in new village, and there the father of Mikhail died. He was about 37 or 48 only. in order to organize again the whole household. And here Mikhail finished his studying at school, and he and his friend accidentally they found such pistol of Browning of the period of the World War II. No, first, yeah. It was broken and rusty, but Mikhail was so interested in it because it is mechanism, and he managed to repair it. And we think that it is what suggested him to go there because he had relatives there. They moved to Kazakhstan railway station Matai, and Mikhail he lived in a wagon of train, and he worked there at the railway station. And then he was called up for military service. I think you understand already that he was tankist. And you see him with revolver in his hand, it's Mikhail. And during his military service, he wrote a poem, Tankists, and this poem even was published in newspaper. And then the war began, the World War II, and Mikhail also took part in some of the war in hospital. So Mikhail spent several weeks in hospital. It was another region. So military operations in which Mikhail took part, they were in Bryansk region. It's not so far from Moscow. And the hospital was in Lipetsk. This distance from Bryansk to Lipetsk, he and some other soldiers, because being at war, he managed, so he noticed to create a new good weapon for his army. So, and he began to think about it, to read some books about and talk to other soldiers, advantages and disadvantages of different weapon. And actually, when he received this vacation, he went to Kazakhstan again in order to create his own weapon. So now you can see here on red color background, you can see submachine gun of Kalashnikov. This is the first weapon made by Mikhail Kalashnikov. Allowed to notice him. So some military, some expert in weapons, they know had the opportunity to communicate to other weapon designers. Samples of weapon in his hand, he can literature about weapon, and only after the end of the war in 1946, Mikhail took part in competition for creating a new weapon, assault rifle. There were a lot of competitors in this competition, except Mikhail, about 16, but Mikhail managed to went to the end of this competition and to win in that competition because his assault rifle, AK, assault rifle of Kalashnikov, was the most simple in using and the most reliable. Because during the competition, this weapon was tested by different influences, such as sand, water, and some temperature. It was heated and frozen, and after all this, weapon still worked. And to work after being in sand, in water, in dirt, and so on. And then this weapon was tested, and it was officially passed into service by our army. And in 1949, Mikhail moved to our city, Ijevsk, and mass production of AK began here in Ijevsk. So our main factory, Ijevsk Machine Building Factory, Mikhail began to work there, and he moved here with his family, his wife and his children, and actually Udmurt Republic and Ijevsk began the second native land for Kalashnikov. He lived here about 60 years, and more than anybody, anything else, anywhere else So, and the mass production began here with the help of our local weapon designers. And here we can see the first generation of AK, maybe the most famous. And in 1949, AKM and documents. Also, this is part of chamber when Mikhail worked. This drawing board of Mikhail, which he used in his work. Also, he visited different soldiers in different parts of our country in order to know their opinion about assault rifle. He wanted to make it better and better, and that's why he needs their opinion, how it is actually comfortable to use this weapon. Also, except assault rifle, Mikhail and his team, they work with machine gun also. Here we can see several variants of these machine guns. This is for some technique, for some vehicles variant, and heavy machine gun here. And there we can light machine gun and tank machine gun. These are several variants of one machine gun. And the weight of this machine gun is 9 kilograms, and together this construction is 16 kilograms. Also, if AK has a magazine, here we can see a special 200 and 300 packages.
These all work on the same caliber, or they have different?
No, different. For AK, it's 762 for 54 centimeters. And also, the factory began to produce some hunting and sport weapons. So here we can see some modernization. In comparison with previous complex, for example, we can see the change in materials, because all wooden parts were replaced by plastic. And this AK became of one color a bit later, and it was made for different calibers, also for some not Russian calibers. Here, for example, 5.46.
5.56 NATO.
This is a cartridge which was accepted in NATO countries. So again, I say again that all these samples were sold to different countries, not in Russia. It was not made for Russia. And also some kinds of hunting weapons. These were made on the base of light machine guns, and these on the base of AK actually. Their names are in honor of some animals. In English it's the same. Saiga, it is not very famous animal, hoofed animal, something middle between goat and deer. Not very famous. So, as for Saiga, it can be of different calibers, and you can take just traditional hunting outlook, and also more similar to real weapon.
Yes.
And then in 2000, a new variant of weapon appeared. And it is for many purposes, for hunting, for sport shooting, and also for some military purposes also. This is the most modern variant, the last variant of AK-12 and AK-15. So the difference between them is also only caliber. Actually, it has two scoping stock. Also, it is folding. The magazine with special windows. You can see how many cartridges you have. And also this, you can link you can connect some devices under barrel and above the barrel. And also the son of Kalashnikov, Victor, he was also a weapon designer, and he worked at the same factory as his father, and his invention is submachine gun Bison. Bison is also a name of animal.
PP Bison.
So, in 90s years, Mikhail became very, very popular. Actually, before, during several decades, the personality of Kalashnikov and AK and our factory was kept in a very strict secret. And Mikhail had no opportunity and right to tell somebody about his work. And in 90s years, his personality was revealed and he became famous and popular. He was awarded by some awards and titles and ranks. Also, he was invited to some countries and he was presented by different souvenirs and so on. He was the people of the year, the person legend, and so on. He became a general. He received a general rank. Also, he has a doctoral degree. Doctoral degree. He became an honorable professor of several academies of the world. So he began to travel. He visited a lot of countries and cities of our country also, and he brought a lot of souvenirs from all these trips. For example, these clocks were presented to Mikhail by our president, Vladimir Putin. He presented him this clock for his birthday. He was 85. So Mikhail had a lot of awards and orders and medals and some ranks, titles and so on. And factories, he met different people, the heads of some countries, the directors of large corporations and factories, and also some soldiers. He visited some fabrics of creating weapons and cartridges. He was interested in met other weapon designers from different countries. So there are a lot of literature devoted to Mikhail Kalashnikov, some books and magazines, and newspapers, and also Mikhail himself, he wrote several books about his biography. One of it was translated into English, and he received a literary prize, and he was a member of the Union of Russian Writers. Also, he had a typewriter. It is his lives by its own life. There are different organizations named after Kalashnikov, different monuments, streets named after Kalashnikov, libraries, schools, universities, and so on. There are different prizes, awards, competitions named after Mikhail Kalashnikov. And 3 years ago, in 2019, there was 100 years after the birth of Mikhail Kalashnikov, and there are a lot of events devoted to this, and there are some new monuments appeared in our country, monuments of Kalashnikov, and new schools. We had 4 children, 5 grandchildren, 6 great-grandchildren, and 2 great-great-grandchildren. So, 4 children, you can see son Kalashnikov Victor, who also weapon designer, Nelly, Lena, and Natasha. Natasha, she was the youngest. She was born here in Czech, and she died when she was 40. She got in car accident. So, and then, 5 grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and 2 great-great-grandchildren. So the son of Kalashnikov also died already. He was 76, and from all children, only 2 daughters still alive. Yeah. So Mikhail also was interested in hunting and fishing, his garden, and as he was inventor, he continued to invent something at home. he made some devices for his house, for car, for garden, and so on. And here we can see the most interesting. It's lawnmower made by Mikhail Kalashnikov, and the device for making barbecue. We call it shashlik. Maybe you've heard.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
shashlik. Yeah, several. They are connected together. You can turn this. You can turn, and all of them turns simultaneously.
Simultaneously.
So here we can see also a part of sled of Mikhail Kalashnikov. All these things are really were belongings of Kalashnikov, books and furniture and cupboard, and this way. He lived a long life. He died when he was 94. It was the December of 2013, and he buried in Moscow Honorable Military Cemetery. So this is the end of our excursion. If you have some questions, I'm ready to answer your question if you have.
Thank you.
Don't you have here some kind of like dummies or something like 47 which we can feel how it weight or it feels to touch it?
No, unfortunately, here in this exposition, no, we have in that hall we have some samples of weapon. Not Kalashnikov. It's weapon of the World War II and sniper's rifle. As for Kalashnikov, I mean the AK, in our shooting gallery, we have model of AK to assembling and disassembling, and there you can actually touch it.
Okay.
But there is only one. One.
Okay, I'm also one. So I asked first, so I want to go first.
फाइनली हम लोग किधर जा रहे हैं?
फाइनली हम लोग जा रहे हैं AK-47 चलन रियल गन
Are you excited?
यस
Very much excited.
खाली इमरान
We are not excited for.
AK-47 चलाते
फाइनली हम लोग जा रहे
Can you describe, like, tell your excitement level?
हैं बहुत हाई से ऊपर हाई है
इसके लिए मैं ऑलरेडी प्रिपेयर बन के सो हैव द जोश हाय सर
Days they keep me sane. I'll dream of fame that cause no pain.
রাকিব সাইড
রাতের ক্লাসনিকভ করা এটা আমার ম্যাডাম। সো আজকে আমাদের ব্লগ এখানেই শেষ করছি। আর কেমন করে অবশ্যই জানান যে কেমন লাগলো, লাইক শেয়ার কমেন্ট আর সাবস্ক্রাইব অবশ্যই করবে এরকম ব্লগ পেজের জন্য। ফির দেখা হচ্ছে নতুন কোনো ব্লগে নতুন কোনো জায়গায়। বাই বাই, ততক্ষণ